Today we'll cover first biomechanics. You know, this is a part of anatomy and physiology. So in anatomy and physiology, you have studied different body systems, and biomechanics is a little different than the anatomy and physiology. That is why this is third competency, third part of AP category, right? Anatomy and physiology category. That is biomechanics. Now, let us understand what is biomechanics. Biomechanics is a branch of bioengineering, okay? And this is a science of forces. This is the science of forces. And the mechanism is a word, means how a system works. That is called mechanism. And bio means the life force or the power, life energy. That's called bio. So how this bioenergy works in the body and what is the mechanism, you will study in this section, in this part. Okay. So basically, biomechanics is the study of forces and their effects on the living system. This is what is all about biomechanism. Is clear? And that was presented by Herbert Hertz in 1974. That was introduced to the sports people and in athletics, because there they have to use the forces. Even when you practice an asana, then you must understand how much force you have to generate in an asana. Okay. And if you will generate more force, then that may injure the ligaments, that may injure the tendons, right? So you have to generate that much force and you have to apply that force in the muscles area. Why you generate the force? What you call locomotion. So the locomotion is based on the biomechanism. All the movements related things. So from cellular being to an organism, there is single cellular being, amoeba, okay, that has also energy. And like we have cell, right? So cell also uses the biomechanism. Even you are sitting, but your body has force. You're not moving, but your body has force. Your body is generating force. Just by sitting in Vajrasana, you generate a specific force. And that force, that power, that energy is used for different purposes. Right? If you are just standing in a tree posture, but there are a lot of things happening inside, because that creates a specific force. So whether you are moving or you are static, but that is always happening. Is clear? So every cell generates a force, a kind of force, and that is used for specific purposes. So there are some automated and there are some what you call voluntarily and involuntarily. You generate force voluntarily by generating force by pushing something, right? But when you don't create the force through your muscles, through your joints, then in that case also the force is happening. Okay. So there is mechanism which is always working in the body. So entirely this is called biomechanism. Clear? Now we come to the forces. Without force, without energy, you cannot do anything. You cannot move. Whatever you eat or drink, that is digested because of the energy. Right? Even You walk on the earth because of the energy, because of the force. And wherever there is force is generated after making some efforts. Without efforts, force is not generated at all. If you want to push something, you have to generate the force, right? So in this section, we'll study about what is force and what are the types of forces. So force is energy, which can be produced by you. So this is called internal force, what you generate. Then the second type of force is called external force. Okay. Internal force is generated by you by using your organs, bones, muscles, tendons, ligaments, cartilage, and other parts of the body. Clear? If you want to lift something, you are using the muscles, right? And muscles cannot, stay without bones. You know that muscles are attached to the bones, and that is why a bone has a strength. If there is no muscle, there is no strength in the bone, isn't it? So a strength or power or the force is generated by the muscles or the bones or the ligaments or the tendons or all these things. That is called internal forces. Clear? Second is external force. External force, like gravitational force. Earth has a force, right? That is why you fall down. If you are not, balanced, suppose if you are practicing balancing posture, and if you lose the balance, you will fall down. What makes you fall? That is gravitational force. There is force in the earth. So this is one of external forces. Clear? This is one of external force. This is called non-contact force. Okay? Non-contact force. That is not contacting you, but that is there. Second type of force is in external force, that is called contact force. Someone is pushing you. Someone is, like when you practice different asanas, then our teachers push you, right? Our teacher give the hands, give the extra force to your body. So that is called external force, but that is contact force. Or when you use the earth, floor, or the wall to generate the force, that is also external force, not coming from inside, coming from outside. Suppose you are doing, headstand, right? So in a headstand, you are using the arms to generate the force from the earth. Okay? That is external force being used. And that force is contact force from the earth. But again, the gravitational force is also helping you to be there. So you are using external force, but that is non-contact force. And when you are using core muscles to maintain the balance, that is force, but that is internal force. It's clear? So there are two types of forces, internal and external. In external, there is contact and non-contact force. And then in biomechanism, we study about the types of joint movements. This is what we have studied in this you study in our skeletal system. Okay, a skeletal system. This is called musculoskeletal system. There are different types of movements, joint movements. You had studied, right? Like flexion, extension, adduction, abduction, circumduction, rotations. All these are movements. Different types of movements. So there is a midline of the body. When you take any part of the body away from the midline, that is called abduction. When you bring that part to the midline of the body, that is called adduction, right? This is flexion, this is extension. When you decrease the angle, that is called flexion. When you increase the angle, it is called extension. So they are the movements, right? When you practice different asanas, you practice movements. So there are different types of joint movements. Next part of biomechanism is joint stabilization. You have to stabilize the joint. There is joint stabilization. In joint we have cartilage, we have ligaments, right? And of course, surrounding muscles in the joint. You have to stabilize that. You have to strengthen that. If there is injury, then you don't work directly on the injury on the joint, but you first heal the surrounding muscles in that joint. Suppose there is some injury in the back, and you have to practice different asanas. In back ache also, in back injury also, yoga can help. But in that case, you practice asana in different way. You avoid forward bending, and also you avoid intensive backward bending asanas, but you practice side bending asanas, side bending postures. And side bending postures strengthen the surrounding muscles of that joint, of that part. So that is called joint stabilization. Is clear? And that is done through safe movement or safe postures. This is called joint stabilization. And mobility and stability matters because that will supply the adequate prana into that area, adequate healing energy to that area, and that part will be healed. Right? So there are two things. One is a strain, another is a sprain. A strain and a sprain. So ligament injury is called a strain, and tendons injury is called a sprain. And in these injuries, biomechanism works to heal, to generate the forces, to different asanas, to different safe movements. And that is how you heal that part. Okay. Then in this chapter, we're learning about training the muscle. You train the muscle. Whatever asanas or practices you do, that is creating a memory in the muscle. Because there is memory in the muscle. Okay. And you have to train your muscle while practicing on the mat. That is why you will have to spare at least an hour every day to train your muscles, training the muscle, to tone the surrounding muscles. And you have to practice daily joint mobility and stability routine practices. Okay. And also you have to learn how to move safely. Okay. If your body is not moving freely in full range, that is because of the stiffness, because of the tightness in the joints, in the muscles. And here you'll have to, remember that hypermobility, too much mobility is also not good for the joints. Too much mobility. Okay. So, and hyperstability is also not good for the joint stability and mobility. So we'll have to have balance. Okay. If any joint is hypermobile, then that will become uncontrolled. Okay. Then we'll not have balance. And if you'll not move the joint, then that will become stiff. So for stability, you need, fiber muscles, because we'll have to, hold this. Then in the book, I have given different planes of the movement. There are different plane, like frontal plane, side plane, horizontal plane. Okay. Then in next pages, I have given different movements like flexion and extension postures, internal and external rotation of the muscles, adduction, abduction, side flexion. I have given these details in the book. Okay, this we have to study. Now, what is very important, uh, the point number 14, guidelines to safeguard the knee during your yoga practice. Like warm into your practice, warm up is very important. Paying attention. When you practice any asana, then you must pay attention on the joint, not only joint, but on your entire body. If you lose the attention, then you may be prone to the injuries. Check your breathing. You have to check your breath. You have to breathe, adequate breathing, adequate inhalation and exhalation. And stay inside your A's. Means you have to see what is my limitation. Okay. Of course, you will try to extend the limitation, but not too much. And avoid sensation in your knee. Not only in knee, but in any joint. If you find any sensation, then that is an alarm. There you have to stop. Don't move further. Honor your own range of motion. You have to understand how much you can move, how much you can, give the pressure, and avoid twisting your knee. This is about knee only. So you should not twist the knee in any asana. Or when you practice any twisting posture, like pigeon posture. Do you remember pigeon posture? Pigeon, where you twist your knee, leg, front leg like this. So your knee is a little twisted. And that is not advised to the people who have knee problems. Okay. Or after an age, that posture should be either modified or avoided. So you have to avoid pressure on your knee. Then avoid hyperextension. Avoid red flags. Red flag is the sensation, tickling, that kind of things. When you have sharpness, shooting, numbness, or tingling in any part of the body, that means that is the red flag. There you have to stop. And use the props to modify the posture. There are different props like yoga blocks, yoga wheel, yoga belt. You can use these props to support your body. Clear? And next is contraindication and misalignments and adaptations. Contraindications means side effects or precautions. Okay. You have to be very mindful while practicing anything, whether asanas, pranayama, any physical practices. Even when you practice Kapalbhati, you have to pay attention on your belly area, because if anyone practices Kapalbhati, too much Kapalbhati, then that may cause to hernia, abdominal hernia problem. Right? If you practice Bhastrika Pranayama too harshly, too forcefully, then that may harm alveoli. Right? So you have to pay attention on every practice. This is called contraindication. Contraindication. Okay. If anyone has high blood pressure, they have to avoid Bhastrika Pranayama, Kapalbhati Pranayama, and forceful intensive Ujjayi Pranayama. So these are the contraindications of Pranayama. There is contraindication of Trataka also. If anyone has, eye issues, then they should avoid Trataka practice in severe eye issues. Although Trataka is good for eyesight, okay, but again there is contraindication. People who have eye surgeries, they have to avoid Trataka. So there is called contraindication. Misalignments. Some people are born with misaligned bones. You can see in the manual book. I'll share this screen so that you'll be able to see. Like these people. See, this person stands well, but this person cannot stand because of the misalignment. Similarly, this person cannot take the hip in full range like her because there is misalignment in this joint. Do you see this figure? This is femur, femoral neck shaft angle varies considerably. So this person has different. This person is different. This is an anatomical misalignment, which cannot be, cured by anything. By surgery, that can be improved, but which is inborn, byborn, cannot be corrected. So this is byborn misalignments. But to an extent, that can be corrected if that person starts practicing yoga, postural integration since childhood. Then that could be improved. But later, when that becomes, mature, fully developed, then that becomes very difficult to change because of the anatomical misalignments. Clear? So that was, then there is question answer about alignment. There is an author, Emma Lim, on alignment. So why one should practice yogasana in properly aligned posture? Why? Because that reduces the risk of injury. And that is good biomechanism. When you practice alignment, then you do not generate negative force. Because if you sit like hunching forward, then you are creating a force inside your body, which is harming, right, your body. So how to stand, how to sit, how to sleep, this you learn in yoga. So that is good for biomechanical efficiency. And that conserves your energy, that reduces fatigue. If you practice yogasana in proper aligned way, then that will not make you tired. You will feel rather more energized. If yoga practice is making you tired, that means you are making some mistakes in practice. That builds strength. That is very helpful in better energy flow. And that is more aesthetic, better appearance. Okay. So that is about alignment and adaptability. Your body is very adaptable. And you have to teach your body how to adapt it. Adaptability means in the beginning, anything which is new for body, that may be awkward to the body, but slowly your body starts adapting that. This is called adaptation. Your body is very instrumental, very intelligent to adapt. If you are living in the hot area, and if you are taken to the Himalayas, to the hill area where there is chilled, cold, for first few days, your body will, work hard to adjust, but slowly your body will adapt. Then you'll be habitual to be there. So this is called adaptability. So you have to use that in your mind, in your body, adaptability. Okay. So in biomechanism, adaptability means you have to modify the body, listening to the body, modify, customize that. Okay. Don't copy anyone. Don't practice anything, even pranayama, even asana, even meditation in competitive way. Because these things should not be practiced in competitive atmosphere. Okay. So this is called adaptability, customization. So this is what you have to practice for yourself, and also this is the same thing which you will teach to your students. Clear? So that was all about biomechanics in brief, but the more you understand it, the more you will, find that there are a lot to learn in this also. So knowledge is endless. Knowledge is endless. There is no end of the knowledge about anything. Science is still discovering, science is still researching in all field, whether that be with that biology or chemistry or physics or anything. Even in yoga also, there are a lot to discover. In meditation also, there are a lot to discover. In the world of spirituality also, there are a lot to discover. And nature wants you to discover new things. Okay. But mostly people just follow the masters, just follow the things which are already discovered because of many reasons. Clear?